What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and welcome to our daily show where we talk about what's going on with the fourth stimulus check update, daily news, what's going on in Washington, D.C., the United States, investing, and everything you need to know about. We're going to be talking about what's going on with the House of Representatives that is back in Washington, D.C., working on the next stimulus package and everything you need to know about. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. Remember, the new videos come out here on our channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be keeping you up to date with everything you need to know about, as well as daily news and what is going on with the United States and in Washington, D.C. A black swan event is a term coined by one of the greatest economists of our era. And it explains how some things can't be foreseen, can't be anticipated, or can't be predicted. Things that literally just come out of nowhere. Up until the 16th century, all recorded accounts of swans were swans with white feathers. No one at the time could consider a swan with black feathers. It was considered an impossibility. A kind of untrustworthy testimony if a witness had said he had seen a black swan. Black swans exist, and in the financial perspective, they are events that are so much beyond the realm of normal that you can't really prepare for them. It would have been fun if fortune telling worked and you could just see what the future lies ahead and make plans ahead of time. The millionaires and billionaires of our times, though, especially when it comes to the stock market, don't really do any gambling and try to stay clear of any grandiose plans in their minds. Instead, they apply big data. This basically means that they collect so much information that probabilities arise and they can make better decisions. One thing that big data is certain about is that zero emission goals around the world are creating a supply-demand imbalance that has gotten completely out of hand. Calling it a supply crunch or a deficit doesn't completely fully describe what's happening in this industry today, in my opinion. The US continues to struggle just to get a sliver of the global industry pie. And this is deeply concerning to me, but as an investor, there's a mega opportunity here, the size that very few industries offer. America is so dependent on other nations for one essential energy source. Nuclear power plants provide roughly 20% of the electricity in the United States. Yet, domestic uranium output is minuscule. Take a look. Asian nations are working around the clock to grow their nuclear footprint. Today, the US imports more than 90% of the uranium that it uses, and the last thing the US government wants to do is for the country to compromise its energy security by depending on foreign-sourced uranium. This means that the US will require hundreds of new nuclear power plants in order to maintain our current living standards. That's why green energy and ESG, which is environmental, social, and governance, are among the most significant and impactful and lucrative industries in 2021. And governments around the world are increasingly incentivizing green initiatives. Think about what's going in this next stimulus package. Climate change is a big part of this next stimulus package. The race to zero emissions is heating up among the world's most powerful nations. China's president announced that they would strive to reach carbon neutrality by 2050. The European Commission is striving to reach net zero emissions also by 2050. President Biden ran on a climate platform to reach net zero emissions by 2050 as well, and 100% clean electricity by 2035. The infrastructure package plans to make, quote, transformational and historic investments in clean transportation and infrastructure. The Biden administration has made it crystal clear that it's pro-nuclear energy and in its carbon neutral vision. BlackRock, who is the world's largest management company, expects that ESG investments could become a $1 trillion category by 2030. Basically, just watch where the money is flowing. ESG investing now accounts for 1/3 of total US assets under management. One survey found that about 1/3 of millennials often or exclusively uses investments that take ESG factors into account. Now, here's why this is a crazy opportunity. In my opinion, the ultimate way to capitalize on this trend is by looking into Uranium Energy Corp, which is US stock symbol UEC on the New York Stock Exchange. which has done something remarkable and has actually purchased physical uranium in order to have supply ready when the time comes to sell inventory. I consider Uranium Energy Corp, which is US stock symbol UEC, the most inclusive and comprehensive way to get into uranium. Since the company is focused on production, yet indirectly owns royalty projects and uranium physical drums. This is the only uranium company that I will probably ever invest in, if that ever tells you how much of a priority this is for me. Uranium Energy Corp is one of the only uranium companies on the New York Stock Exchange, and a company that encompasses many of the angles on the commodities value chain in one company. Feel free to research Uranium Energy Corp, the sponsor of this video. Now, here's a real shocker. The world's leading country in uranium is Kazakhstan. Is only using a specific type of extraction methodology. Kazakhstan is the dominator in the global uranium market, only operates that way. In situ recovery is by far the cheapest, most effective, and cleanest way to mine uranium and produce it. Uranium Energy Corp owns in situ recovery, a production-ready project on U.S. soil, which makes it rare and special since they're in Texas and Wyoming. Conduct your due diligence on Uranium Energy Corp. Keep in mind that it is the only uranium company whose board of directors includes a former energy secretary. Most people aren't even aware of how vital nuclear energy is to their daily lives in particular. Nuclear energy currently provides about 10% of the entire world's electricity. Nuclear energy is the world's second largest source of low carbon power. Over 50 countries use nuclear energy in about 220 research reactors. France gets about 75% of its energy from nuclear energy. Heading into this year, the uranium market faces a major supply deficit of about 23.6 million pounds, or about 13% of the global demand, according to Scotiabank. The opportunity here is really unbelievable. Uranium Energy Corp is run by Amir Anini. Mr. Anini has been selected as one of mining's future leaders by Mining Journal, a UK-based global industry publication. Fortune magazine distinguished him on their 40s under 40s ones to watch list on North America's executives list. He was also a finalist on Ernst & Young's Entrepreneur of the Year distinction. Now get this, from the March 2020 lows to its high in June 2021, the stock has surged by 600%, but has now since corrected by 40% in just 2 months. So after over a year of tracking it, this is by far the best buy the dip moment as I see it. As I said, it trades on the New York Stock Exchange. The stock symbol is UEC, and it's easily accessible through all brokerage and even platforms like Robinhood and Webull. I will put some links down below in the description of this video if you want more links to check out the stock. Okay, the U.S. House of Representatives has returned today from recess or from their state work period to advance both the bipartisan infrastructure package, the $1.2 trillion physical infrastructure package, part one, and the $3.5 trillion stimulus package, both of them working on this today. Ahead of a crucial meeting that is actually taking place today, Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, says that a budget reconciliation must pass first, aka the next stimulus package, the $3.5 trillion stimulus package. As you can see here, Speaker Nancy Pelosi, the leader of the Democrats and the leader of the entire House of Representatives, on Monday reiterated her support for prompt House passage of the Senate Democrats' budget resolution, also known to you guys as the $3.5 trillion stimulus package, ahead of a crucial meeting where her caucus will discuss the measure and a separate bipartisan infrastructure deal. She says, quote, "We must not squander our congressional Democratic majorities and jeopardize the once-in-a-generation opportunity to create historic change to meet the needs of working families." The House is returning to Washington on Monday, today, to take up the budget resolution, the next stimulus package, which the Senate passed earlier this month. But note that the Senate only passed the stimulus package with the motion to proceed They're still working on the bill. They passed the infrastructure package fully in the Senate, and that the House will be producing the bill for the next stimulus package. House approval of the resolution would pave the way for the Democrats to pass a forthcoming $3.5 trillion Democrat only bill. Through the budget reconciliation process, which is expected to include spending areas in such as education, childcare, healthcare, housing, and climate. Pelosi and congressional progressives are seeking quick passage of the budget resolution and want to wait to pass the separate Senate passed $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill until the upper chamber, the Senate, passes the Democrat only spending bill. But a group of 9 moderate House Democrats is threatening to vote against the budget resolution until the House votes on the infrastructure bill. Democrats have a slim majority in the House, so nearly all House members in the party need to vote for the budget resolution to pass the stimulus package. Pelosi said in a letter that there will be a caucus meeting Monday evening tonight where Democratic lawmakers will discuss the path forward on both bills. So yeah, they're literally going to have a meeting here tonight after the filming of this video as she's trying to round up her 218 Democrats in the House of Representatives. And she needs 99% of them to vote. And on an upcoming vote that could happen tonight, could happen tomorrow, as she's trying to negotiate with her own Democrats, because again, they need 99% of them to all vote together to pass the motion to proceed, which basically is a motion that it's actually a very, very big vote. It's not just an inconsequential vote, because basically this vote is basically saying that we're going to proceed on the $3.5 trillion stimulus package first, instead of voting on the part 1, the physical infrastructure package, the $1.2 trillion physical infrastructure package first. Okay. Remember, there's these moderate Democrats that want to just pass the physical infrastructure bill and get it out of the way first. Okay. So this is a very, very big vote, because remember, there's some Democrats that say, no, we should pass the physical infrastructure bill first and get it out of the way. So this motion to proceed is going to decide what will happen. Because remember, the $3.5 trillion stimulus package actually has a longer way to go, because the physical infrastructure package is passed in the Senate. It only needs to pass in the House. It's already halfway there, basically. It's passed in the Senate. It needs to pass in the House and then just go to the president. It's already 50% of the way there. Okay. The stimulus package has only passed a motion to proceed in the House. It's basically unlocked the budget reconciliation. It's not fully passed in the Senate because the bill is not there yet. Okay, so the House is now trying to pass the motion to proceed as well, and then they will be producing the bill. So this is a very, very big step, because there's some Democrats saying, no, we shouldn't do it this way. We should pass the physical infrastructure bill and just get that completed and done, have it written into law so that states can get, remember, each state is going to get billions and billions and billions of dollars for roads, bridges, clean drinking water, and will create millions or thousands and thousands of jobs for each state, millions of jobs total over the course of like 8 years. So a lot of Democrats and even Republicans, remember, that's a bipartisan bill, that physical infrastructure bill. A lot of people are saying that we should finish that bill and just get it done. But the Democratic Progressive Caucus, which is like 100 Democrats in the House, are saying, no, that's not what we're doing. That's not what we've planned on doing. We've said all along here for a long time that we're going to pass these bills in tandem. Okay, we're going to pass them basically side by side. We're going to, and what Nancy Pelosi is basically doing is the $3.5 trillion stimulus package is kind of an insurance policy, or maybe I should reverse that and switch it up. The physical infrastructure package is an insurance policy to make sure that the larger $3.5 trillion stimulus package gets passed. So the problem is if they pass the physical infrastructure package, the $1 trillion plan, then you can't really use that as leverage, and then insurance policy kind of goes away. Now it's kind of weird because I remember when they first announced this that I didn't really think they needed to do that, because remember that the $3.5 trillion stimulus package is going to be passed by Democrats only. All the Republicans are going to vote no on it. We've seen that with the initial votes to proceed in the Senate. Um, all the Republicans voted no on it, and they passed it anyways, just with the motion to proceed. Just with the motion to proceed. Okay. Um, so again, the Democrats are going to pass this anyways. Of course, we're going to see several votes here through the voting process. But I don't know, Nancy Pelosi is maybe worried about some of these moderate Democrats like the Kirsten Sinema and the Joe Manchins in the Senate, and the 9 moderate Democrats from the House of Representatives that are already kind of threatening to, I don't know if I want to say block the bill, but maybe have some demands on the bill. So right now their demands on the bill are, we want to pass the physical infrastructure bill first. So over this next few hours, and I say few hours because we really don't know exactly when this is going to happen. Could happen tonight during this meeting. It could happen by tomorrow. I'll keep you up to date on when this is going to happen and when they're going to go ahead with this motion to proceed, because it's going to be a very big vote. When they go with this motion to proceed, we're going to see how firm these moderate Democrats are. We're going to see if they've already kind of negotiated with them and if they had to make some concessions with them. And I mean, we might not know what they negotiated with them, if they had to grease their palms or whatever they had to do with them, if they're going to give their states something or give them something, or who knows what they're going to do, right? But we're going to see they can only have 3 Democrats vote no. If they get 4 Democrats to vote no, then the motion to proceed will fail. Okay, and this is really not a big deal if that happens. Then they're just going to go back to the table and renegotiate. Okay, so they just have to change their opinion by negotiating with them. So we will see what happens. I'll keep you up to date. This is an ongoing breaking news story. It's an ongoing negotiation. This is all kind of literally going down here as I'm speaking to you. Also today, President Biden has asked the Supreme Court to leave the eviction moratorium intact. As you can see here, the Biden administration on Monday, today, asked the Supreme Court to leave intact an eviction freeze put in place amid the increased spread of the highly contagious Delta variant. In a court filing, lawyers for the government urged the court to let stand the CDC's new eviction moratorium that goes until October 3rd, while the administration appeals a lower court ruling that found the measure unlawful. The CDC has the statutory authority to halt evictions to prevent the spread of the communicable disease, the government urged in its brief, noting that the pandemic has worsened since the last time the justices confronted the eviction freeze. The Supreme Court addressed an earlier version of the moratorium in June when the justice voted 5-4 to reject a bid by a group of landlords to effectively end the policy. The minority vote comprised 4 of the court's more conservative justice or Republican justices, Clarence Thompson, Samuel Alito, Neil Gorsuch, and Amy Coney Barrett, who indicated that they would have blocked the policy at that time. Justice Brett Kavanaugh and surprised some court watchers by joining the 5 justices' majority to deny the landlord's request. However, Kavanaugh also said Congress would need to pass the new legislation for the CDC to lawfully push the previous moratorium past its July 31st expiration date. But Congress did not renew the policy. Instead, Biden administration in early August acted unilaterally to renew the lapsed eviction freeze, which is now slated to run until early October. It's actually October 3rd. And a lower court has upheld the ruling and said that it will hold, but now the Supreme Court is looking into it. So yeah, it's safe to say that there's a lot going on right now. The House of Representatives is back in session. They're going to have a meeting tonight to figure out what's going on. The Supreme Court is looking into the eviction ruling. We have the whole Afghanistan debacle going on right now. They're literally evacuating people as we speak. Um, Seems like there's no shortage of things going on right now. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. So it's going to be a very, very big week for the next stimulus package. At this moment, it looks like they're moving forward with the stimulus package first in the House of Representatives, not the physical infrastructure package. And we'll see what happens with this big meeting here tonight and possibly a vote with a motion to proceed. If it passes, that means that they will be proceeding with the stimulus package first in the House of Representatives, and the motion to proceed has to pass. If it passes, that means that they will be proceeding with the stimulus package first in the House of Representatives. So I will keep you up to date. Remember, new videos come out here on our channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll keep you up to date with everything going on with this next stimulus package, which will be the largest stimulus package ever at $3.5 trillion. I'll also keep you up to date with everything going on in our country and going on in Washington, D.C. Make sure to subscribe down below. It's completely free to do so you don't miss out on new videos. You can also, after subscribing, which is free to do so, click the bell icon that appears after you subscribe, and then click it to all notifications so you get a reminder notification when we go live with new videos. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video is how there could be monthly checks in this next upcoming stimulus package. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.